One of my favorite horror comics just became a survival horror game, and it's awesome. As I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate horror content from all kinds of different avenues, so reading horror-themed comics has always been something I've pretty much enjoyed. One of my favorite comics that I've read over the last few years is I Hate This Place, written by Kyle Starks. Between the unique art style by Art Yam Toplin and the awesome story of two strong protagonists, Trudy and Gabby, dealing with ghosts, aliens, and other supernatural beings, it's something that I really loved reading through. So, when I heard that they're releasing a game that takes direct inspiration from the comic series, I was all in. And fortunately for me, the developers at Broken Mirror Games and Rock Square Thunder sent me an early copy of the game to try out, and it's fire. I Hate This Place is an isometric survival horror game that's built around scavenging, crafting, and decision making under pressure. You play as Elena or Elena, whose fight for survival begins right after a ritual goes wrong, dragging her into a hostile world that feels designed to punish mistakes. Resources are limited, shelter is temporary, and noise can be pretty fatal if you're not careful. First off, let me talk about the art style because I love it. It looks like it's straight out of a comic book. From the exaggerated visual effects to the heavy outlines and the loud color blocks, everything just pops on the screen. At times, it genuinely feels like I'm moving through comic panels, and that visual language really elevates the experience. I did mention earlier that noise can be deadly, and that's because most of the enemies rely on sound to hunt you down. I just finished playing through A Quiet Place, and while this game doesn't rely solely on silence in the same way, you still have to tread carefully and think about every move, especially in tight spaces. As for other gameplay elements, the world features a day to night cycle. During the day, you explore, gather resources and blueprints, craft gear, and set up shelters. When night falls, you're basically trying not to die. It also kind of reminds me of games like Darkwood. I Hate This Place is set to release on January 29th with a physical release coming later this year. So if you're into isometric shooters with horror elements, a dope story, and a unique visual style, check it out. And feel free to drop any questions you have with the game in the comments.